But maybe on like record store day, I think when I was like 13 or something, I went to record store day.
Well, that must have been one of the first record store days, because it started in 20, I want to say 10 or 11.
Yes, exactly.
Early doors.
Yeah, exactly. Early doors. And I think by the third or fourth year I went, it was like, it'd become like a proper racket. Everyone was just,
it's a party.
Yeah. And people were like buying and selling them online. Like it was
immediately it was happening.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think, and no one's given me an answer about this.
Yes.
I think there's this phenomenon that you have like 3 albums in mind when you go to a record store. And then as soon as you get into the record store, you can't remember them.
Yeah. It's like books for me. I feel like I'm just always buying. If I can't go into a bookshop, I just like my list of what I'm meant to read is just 3 digits at this point. And every time I buy a new one, I'm like, yeah, but I will read this one.
Where do you go? World of Books? That's online,
these days I don't allow myself to go to bookstores, so I couldn't tell you.
You end up
there's a
dropping
bookshop
a lot of
in
cash.
Brixton which is really good. I don't know the name.
Yeah,
It's always got a cat in it. I bought a couple of books from there recently which I have not read.
When you read, is that where you'll get like feelings for lyrics, for tone, for like comedy?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I probably like more have that relationship with film these days.
Okay.
I think that, as I said, I'm very bad at reading a lot as I used to, and so I'm like maybe some audiobooks on the go, maybe like podcasts and and maybe just things your friends say. I think it really does kind of come from all over the place.
It's kind of the job. I mean, we didn't really do an introduction there.
No,
but this show's called 101 Part-Time Jobs.
Here we go. Yeah.
And it started because it was like people, playing in bands, they'll go on tour, they'll do some big shows, but they could well be on the shelves Monday morning at Tesco, Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And now I do it more and more, and I interview people like you who play music full time. I quickly realized that playing music full time, there's a hell load of jobs in that.
Yeah.
And one of the main ones being like, okay, what am I going to write about? Like, what's the feeling? What am I trying to do here?
Totally. Yeah. And that's a kind of, unfortunately, it's a really time consuming job. I think even now I just make a lot of things that aren't good enough, and you have to be sometimes quite unprecious with the feeling of a day's work. Sometimes you can waste days trying to find things and trying to make things happen, but I guess the more you do it, the more you realize that helps you get to the things that you can do 10 minutes work that is suddenly can earn you a living, but you can also do like 6 months work that cannot. And I think that is the job.
I would think it would take anyone like a lot of, I don't know, time to not let that get to you.
Yes.
And not let that bother you.
Yeah, I think that is exactly what it's taken, probably time. And I suppose also you have other modes of the work, right? Like touring and, I write for other people. And so I have things to distract me almost from...
You can go to work.
Yes,
you
exactly.
Can wake up and just do something.
Of a feeling of going to work, definitely.
Yeah.
And I sort of have that approach when I'm making work for myself as well. And I sort of rationalize it, even though it is just like a really bizarre, irrational job. Yeah.
But this can get existential very quickly.
Isn't everything?
Yeah.
Most things are bullshit jobs, and I think I'm in one of those too. Yeah.
And you're prolific. It's your sixth record.
Yeah, sixth record. Yeah.
Your late 20s?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a bit more time with the next one, maybe. I'm saying that to kind of make it come true. We'll see. I think
There's
definitely...
a word for that. You're manifesting.
You're manifesting it, yeah. That's it. It's flown by, really. I really like making things and then putting them out, and I think I probably was... I was always incredibly eager for there to be like a lot of things I've made. I think these days I feel... less precious about that and more just I want each thing to be hopefully quite good, so I'm just trying to be very intentional with that and know that I kind of think at this point the world doesn't need another me record unless it's really good. So that's kind of how I felt with this one. It was just like I'm going to spend loads of time on it and make it hopefully make it good.
It's a great record. It's an excellent record.
Thank you.
Actually, I think there is absolute need for someone to air their chagrin about how many train delays and bus service placements
Finally,
there are.
someone's talking about it.
Finally. You've done it.
Holding Great Western Rail accountable. Yeah.
That's what you need to do. That is a good enough reason. So you can pin the record. That could tent pole the whole record.
It. Yeah. It's a political record at heart. Yeah.
It's sexy. It's a sexy record.
Thank you.
And I think that takes guts.
Thanks. Yeah, I think I felt when I started to write some of the lyrics for it, I thought like, oh God, it's like it's the British thing in me or whatever that's just like, don't talk about the intimate side of your life. But it did feel like the most interesting thing I could talk about. And I think, and the most unlike past music I'd made. And so I just think it felt like exciting in a kind of scared of it way.
Yeah. Imagine that feeling is almost like that's the buzz, that's the fizz.
Yes, totally.
You're scared to put it out. Yeah,
totally. I think it is important. I think, I definitely think countless people have probably said that right better than I have, but I do think that is part of the line is like, is it on the edge? When
you start going to the studio, you're writing for yourself or you're writing for other folk. I mean, will you have something in mind, or do you start every day like a fresh slate, fresh canvas? I
feel like it's one continuous day. Maybe like I think I have lots of bits that that come to mind at certain points in my life that I'll just keep around for a couple of years, and it might be that like I took a flight and then suddenly looked through my voice memos from 3 years ago and was like, oh, I forgot about that. And I think I do let part of it be random. I think once I have the beginnings of something, I am probably more intentional with like, okay, now I feel like the first 80%, what's the saying? It's such a like, I don't know, it's such a self-help book saying, but it's like the first 80% takes 20% of your effort. The last 20% takes 80% of your effort. And I think that I definitely feel that. I think starting stuff is really fun, but like finishing stuff is where you kind of have to be the most regimented.
Because I imagine the first half of it is almost like an accident.
You
could be having a conversation and
exactly.
There's like a profound moment.
Exactly.
Can't come from nowhere.
Totally. And there's no pressure, right? Like other than the pressure you put on yourself, I guess. But once you have something that's vaguely good, it's like, okay, I can't mess this up now. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the hardest time it's ever been for musicians in a lot of ways, because I feel like the £50 support fee has stayed the same.
Yes.
People are looking at the same like outline, like everyone's looking at Instagram and YouTube. So
totally.
They're looking at the same sort of layout. How do you make something different? How do you make something that stands out?
Totally.
Where's your mind at with that stuff?
I think I have a really mixed view of it. I think that the like access to market is so much more open than it was for musicians in the 70s, right? And I think that's like a beautiful thing. I think it's amazing.
It's accessible.
And like the fact that like any kid from anywhere can put out a song or get a record deal from like just having a phone and a voice. There's something weirdly amazing about that. There's not something as pure about it as, like someone having to like build up a live career or like make a demo tape. But even that depended on like the taste of 3 or 4 men at major labels or at the radio. And so was that more beautiful and easier? Like, it's so hard. I think what's difficult now is that I think we carry maybe like an old fashioned sense of the word of like a musician is and that when we hear that a musician is a musician, we think they're a musician full time, right? And actually like in today's world, because there's so many more people doing it, and actually like there are probably a lot more medium-sized artists than there are like big ones, right?
Like a big middle class.
So which probably like links to the podcast, but I think it's almost like the hangover of realizing that actually like just being a musician doesn't like enable you to have your career, like unfortunately, whereas back then to be classified as a musician meant you probably had a record deal, you probably like
your Axl Rose.
Exactly. So it's a really different time. And I think there's good sides and bad sides for sure.
And you've like grown up with it, writing from an early age, and those formative years, 18, 21, 25. I mean, in a way you've had a lot of chance to think about it and get existential and be like, okay, what am I doing?
I definitely think starting younger helped, when moments of failure happened, as they always do for everyone, like being dropped or whatever at 21 and just actually being able to make another record myself and still have a chance at like having a second wind of sorts or another career. And
how did that happen? So it was
I put out my
Atlantic.
first record, exactly, and then it sort of just went our separate ways, different visions,
which is normal.
And that wasn't huge, and all of those, and naturally it just, and then I sort of threw out a second record. I started a second record in my bedroom with the money I had left over, had a very finite amount of time to like give it another go, and I felt very lucky in hindsight that happened, because it made something that then connected with people in a different way, because it was probably more from it was more just like, in my mind, it was like my last stamp or something, which was quite a good attitude to have, rather than this like quite entitled view, which you maybe have on your sign of like, I'm going to be doing this for 20 years. And it's like, you're just, it's no guarantee of anything. Is
rock bottom too big of a word? In a way,
well, I felt pretty much at the bottom I didn't feel great, but I felt like, weirdly, it was really freeing to be low like that, and to be kind of like rejected, to feel rejected. It was I think I look at it as a really precious place to build back up from. It's kind of like when I was like heartbroken at 18 or whatever. I think from 16, 17, 18, like, I had a first girlfriend, and you have that attitude of like, well, I could have anyone, like you get like intoxicated by being desired, and actually what everyone needs is like that knock. And I had that knock and kind of just became a normal person again. And the same thing happened with music. I got really lucky. Yeah.
It's good to be devoed sometimes.
It is. Yeah. It's a really important thing. And it's especially nice when it happens like early on in your life, and you can like build back up from it.
Yeah.
Because it is just a reality that it's going to happen at some point.
And still, 21, you still had such between then and now, there's still been quite a long road.
Yeah, it has, put out maybe 5 records since then, and
that is prolific.
Thanks,
that's pedal to the gas. Isn't it?
It's sort of just the rhythm I started. It's hard. I often feel like I don't think about it too deeply until I maybe sit in situations like this, and someone's like, "That's a lot," and you're
like me asking you about
it. No, as in like, I think, in my perspective, though, I think there were bands that were doing like bloody 2 or 3 records a year, or even
Guided by Voices,
exactly, or King Gizzard or whatever. Like, there's people who just put out crazy amounts of records. So I don't feel like I'm insane, but I'm also I don't know. I don't have an answer.
And writing for other people. I feel like maybe over the last 5 years, maybe it's just my perception or what I read, but you do read more and more about how, it's not just the Ed Sheerans that you read about writing for other people. It's quite a normal thing to do. To write for other people. Make a bit of cash, but also do your thing. Go to work.
For me, it was just plainly like another opportunity to like write songs and not have it be about the self. You're like not the boss of your own room which you kind of, when you're an artist, you sort of are really, and like every decision lives and dies by you. But with the writing for other people, I actually just also accessed a sense of community and social life in my work, which I had never had.
Solo songwriter, it's quite lonely.
And I had made, at the beginning I would like, and I still most of the time make records on my own, and if there was a producer, I'd spend 2 weeks with them, but then just be back making work by myself. So it was, it was, and it has been still such a pleasure to like, dare I say, make friends through the process, it's really nice. And
that's cool. Who are the standouts?
Recently I've made a lot with Tom Misch and Celeste, and done some stuff with Joy Crookes, and all become friends, and it's lovely, really.
Did you write anything on Joy's new record?
I did a song called Mathematics.
It's come out.
Which Kano.
That's a tune.
Which is
great video.
So good.
Oh, cool. So how did that start?
It started maybe 2-3 years ago. We went to some kind of remote studio. I can't tell you where it is. Not because I have to kill you, but just because I actually forgot. And then I sort of got sent it a couple of years later with Kano on it, and I was like, that is so funny. I'm just like, I feel like the littlest whitest boy from Reading just having like a Kano cut is insane.
But we live in this kind of time of like of great guitarists.
Yes.
Like McGee is probably obviously in the mix there, but there's lots of great guitar work going out there, and different types of sounds and kind of chord progressions that are interesting.
Yes, totally. That's
your world.
Yeah, totally.
You can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, chords. It's all about chords, right?
Do you ever get? I just got myself a flying V, and so I'm not playing many chords because I'm in my friend's wedding band.
Oh, okay, yes.
And so I'm just doing a lot of.
Okay, you have to explain to me what flying V is as a piano player.
Like a flying V guitar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Why can't you do as many chords on that?
Well, you can, but it's just like, it sounds cooler.
Okay. Right.
Do you not play guitar?
Not really. I play a little bit.
I thought you did.
Yeah, I have a lot of guitar on the record. Yeah. But I still don't see myself as a guitarist. Most of the good guitar playing on the record, I got someone else. Yeah. I got a friend to do that. I wrote the songs on the guitar, but I most of the time I'm just doing like very... I mean, yeah, I'm making it sound like I'm awful. I'm not a great guitar player.
You're a great piano player. I saw you like stood up the other day, and I was like, that takes actually quite... Yeah. That's a pro move.
There was just one small moment where I stood up, but I think because I put it online, I've had a few friends be like, wow, you're playing standing up now. I'm like, no.
Yeah. What are the jobs that you've done?
Okay, so the jobs that I've done are... So when I was a kid, I was buying and selling records. I was like going on Gumtree doing job lots, and then I was like pricing them up on Discogs and
Maltese vintage.
I know, yeah, Maltese vintage.
You got a competitor, yeah.
No, don't worry, not anymore. And what else did I do? I worked at...
That's good. Look, let's stay on that. I mean, how did you get into that? Was that because your parents had a good record collection?
No, it was really... I think I did this like... worked at this like gift card shop, and it was so horrific, and I was just thinking like most of the time, like, how do I not do this? Like we had this like really just devil boss, this guy who like, and I think because I was the only guy, like man who worked there, he just made me carry everything, right? And I just wasn't, I was just as strong then as I am now, which is not incredibly strong. So I was just thinking, how do I get out of this? And then I don't know what struck it. I mean, I always like had a bit of a record collection, and I think maybe I was just literally bored and looking on Gumtree and like saw a job lot and was like, oh, I'm going to do that. Convinced my dad to like drive me to London. I got really lucky the first time, which is always dangerous, right? Because then that was the luckiest I ever got, because I went to like North London, and it was this like ex-DJ who gave me like his whole collection for like 20 quid. It was insane. And it had like pulp records and it was fantastic. Yeah. And so, and I made enough money, which meant I could quit the job and just
very entrepreneurial.
I guess.
Entrepreneurial teenager.
Yeah, and I kept some records. I feel like it was a really, it was good. And then I had like a part-time catering job, which was bleak. It was so bleak.
Yeah, I mean, they are.
Yeah, they're bleak.
You get treated like absolutely.
Yeah. I had the story I prepared which is quite kind of horrible to go public about it, but I cut my finger once onto the plate. And the chef was shouting at me so much that I couldn't even bring myself to like to bring the plate back. So I just like cleaned it with my sleeve and served some poor person at this like private school function some food, which just bloody I don't want to think about it. It wasn't a lot, but it was horrific.
What did you do? I tried to not make a deal out of it.
I wiped it with my sleeve, and then I just served it to the person. Because the chef was so... I was so scared of this chef.
You were in a panic?
Yeah, I was in a panic. And no.
I mean, those kinds of situations are kind of like enough to make you so determined to do something else.
Totally.
Maybe it's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. No, I definitely think like some jobs are really good motivators, aren't they?
And then after that, it was like you were playing music by then?
Yeah, I started playing music. I went to a music college for like a year, and I worked at this cafe. It was like a yoga cafe. Yeah. It's actually really near here.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. And that was probably last job I had out of the music.
Pushed you over the edge.
It pushed me over the edge. Yeah. No, I think I basically almost got fired because I was like playing my own playlist. Like I wanted to but yeah.
When things like that happen,
it's just like,
I'm a fucking adult.
Yeah, I know.
Don't treat me like that. Yeah. I think that's one thing I've learned actually. Yeah. I think I learned it way too late. I learned it in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Which is only like 5 years ago. And it's like, oh, actually, you can just be yourself. You should try and be yourself. And I know that's such parental advice.
No, it's
true.
But
if you don't really see a reason to...
Yeah. It's hard. I think the world doesn't let you think you can stand up for yourself sometimes, Totally.
And I think it takes a lot of guts to actually be like, no. Yeah. I think that's that's why it's interesting hearing from artists. Because it is a radical thing to do.
Yeah.
You're going out on a limb.
Yeah.
You've got to be pretty determined.
Yes.
No one's telling you what to do.
No, totally. Yeah, it's a shot in the dark for sure, and it's a job with no floor really, like, but also no ceiling, which is kind of what the appeal is, right? And so I think there's something sort of wildly like irresponsible about trying to become a musician or something. But
it's like the everlasting summer.
Yeah.
So have you got used to that lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I fill it up quite a lot. I don't feel on holiday ever, which I think is a good thing, maybe.
On the white sands.
Yes, exactly. No, I feel like it's a job, and I feel like I take a lot of solace in the fact that I make things that I'm proud of, and that I don't have to send emails that disappear into the ether or something, but there's a lot of admin and sides of the job that aren't enjoyable, but that's like any job, I think the farce is to think that once you're doing it, it's just all going to be magical, because it's there's just going to be good bits and bad bits.
You got to go to the post office sometimes.
Exactly.
You got to go to the dentist.
Exactly. Yeah.
When was the last time you got your teeth checked?
Maybe like 2 months ago.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yes, I had to floss more. I mean, that isn't everyone, I guess.
Flossing's it's a scam.
I hope it's a scam, because I don't do it enough, right? Like, I hope someone releases a study and says, actually, you don't need to floss.
I don't think you need
that
to
would
floss.
Be good. Yeah.
But those little things, they do come in handy. The little plasticky things. Because if you're trying to get something out, like
in your eye,
the headphone. No, sorry, not.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about. You've got something in your eye now. You need a floss.
If you're trying to get something out of a small crack. They're quite good for those reasons.
Yes.
Discovered that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Have you got any pets?
No, but my flatmate has a cat.
Yeah.
So I sort of I'm like a cat uncle.
Yeah.
Which is good perfect, actually.
Yeah.
I only have to clean up the vomit once in a while just to be a good flatmate, but not by, that's not my responsibility.
Are you tight? Are you and the cat tight? Can you do you do that thing where you blink your eyes slowly? And
no, but I've heard they do that. No, I haven't done that back. You meant to do that back?
Do that, yeah.
Really? Yeah.
I start it.
What? Because you think? Oh, because then they think.
It's like I love you in cat language.
I can't buy into that. Is that actually true?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And there's loads of great videos, like if you put some tin foil behind a cat, it'll fucking jump 5 meters high.
I love cats. Yeah. I didn't really like cats before. I lived with this one, and then it just changed my life, really. It's just, yeah, they're great.
Having housemates and living in flat shares, I mean, that's sort of the only way people our age can live in London, isn't it?
Yeah. And even that's hard for some of my friends and whatever,
Yeah, I mean, we're like the upper class at this point.
Yeah, very, very fortunate. I'm really fortunate to live somewhere I like, and to have, space and a bed that you can walk around now. Those are big steps.
Still don't have one of them.
Yeah.
Well, on one side, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. No, it's it's funny, isn't it?
You're going to be able to spend much time in London this summer, because there's nowhere like London in the summer, is there?
I know, right? Yeah. I was saying how I was in America recently, and I was just like, half the time I was just pissed off I wasn't in London where the weather was finally good. All the work you've done for this weather.
Yeah, and it's going to go next week.
Yeah, I know. No, it's magical. I think it's in the summertime. London is just the best place in the world.
Which festivals are you at?
This summer, not playing many, actually. I'm doing one in the US and another one in September in the US. I think it'll mostly be next summer. So I might go to a couple this summer. I don't know yet. I'd like to go to End of the Road. It looks amazing.
End of the Road, quality, Green Man.
Such a good, and I'd like to maybe go for like a day to Glastonbury. I don't know who does that, but
well, you might get good, because then you get hopefully the train carriages aren't too mad.
Exactly.
So that's a good reason to do that.
Yeah, and I'm a bit of a bad camper. I just don't like it that much.
Same.
Yeah.
My back just goes after a night.
Yeah, I can't bear the temperature change.
Yeah, because in the morning,
Yeah.
Primavera Sound looks good.
It does, yeah.
Always looks good.
It does. I'm just not going to another country for a festival, I think.
It's like going to a stag do. If it's a stag do in a different country, I'm not going. No way. Too expensive.
But it's a good lineup, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, good to chat.
Yeah, lovely to chat.
It's a great record.
Thank you.
It's really lovely.
Thank you.
If there's one thing you want to do with it, this year, if there's one thing that you're like, if I tick that box, tick that goal, is there one? Have you thought of
I think probably it's linked to the tour. I'd love to just do a live show and put together a live show that does it justice and that feels like the best thing I've ever done. So that's really the simple intention for this year.
Is it oboe? What's the woodwind on the record?
Yeah, loads of clarinet, a little bit of flute.
It's an amazing sound.
Yeah,
it's so warm.
I love that sound. And there's like a fake kind of mellotron clarinet sound as well. It's basically the woodwind record for sure. Yeah.
Well, if you need someone with a flying V guitar,
yeah, you're the guy. But no chords. Yeah.
No chords. Nice one. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks so much. Cheers, man.
Hey, we got Knuckles. Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps.